This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. It's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. And I am Rachel Cruz, hosting this hour. And next to me is George Camel. George, it's me a good hour.
It is. I hope.
I hope so,
You're
too.
saying a lot there. Very aspirational.
No, it is. I'm going to say it as a fact. So, yeah, we're here to talk about anything about your life, whether it's your relationships, your mental health, your money. So just give us a call. So we're going to start out with Bo in Dallas, Texas. Hey, Bo, welcome to the show.
Hi, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So I'm 23. I've been working a job for about 10 months out of college. Make good money, make about $78,000 a year. In a couple months, I should be getting a raise anywhere from 90 to 100.
Nice.
I've always been pretty good saving my money. For about the past 5 years, I've got about $20,000 in a Fidelity account, $15,000 in Bitcoin, which I know you guys are gonna, give me the wham face about. Maybe not, and then about $5,000 in a company 401k with a match. But my question is, I only have about $3,000 in my checking account. And in the inflationary environment we're in, I'm losing my purchasing power every day, just keeping the money in my checking account. And, I'm 23, single, don't really think I need to save up for a house in this crazy housing market. Should I be concerned about having this low amount of cash in my checking account? If an emergency comes up, I could just, sell some of my stock or some of my Bitcoin. So that's kind of my question. Should I, keep my cash balance low and keep the aggressive investing up, or maybe, try and beef up that checking account?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I always answer these questions that if I woke up in your shoes. And for me, having liquid cash just to get where there's no strings attached, there's no hoops I have to jump through, hurdles I have to get over, that I can just literally get it right now if I needed it, gives me a sense of peace. And if there's something that happens that you have to have cash, having something just available that's not tied up in investments or even Bitcoin, I really do recommend. So that's kind of our 3 to 6 months worth of expenses when we talk about baby step 3. Do you have any debt at all, or are you completely debt free?
No, I'm debt free. I was lucky enough I didn't have to pay for college.
That's
and
awesome.
That would be, my only big expense. So yeah, I'm debt free.
Very cool. Well, you're doing an incredible job, Bo.
Yeah.
I mean, the questions you're asking at 23 it's impressive. So
Sharp guy.
If I were you, I would have some money, and you can even start saving for it now if you want, and just saying, hey, I'm on baby step 3, and then start saving for that fully funded emergency fund. You could do that because if you love this other stuff that you have your money in, but I would probably just cash out one of those investments, probably the Bitcoin. I know you're not shocked that I'm going to say that.
It's not doing great anyways, Bo. Let's be honest.
Yeah, thank you.
But here's what I'm thinking. Why can't you do both? Why not have a fully funded emergency fund and be investing? So I think right now your next goal should be to beef up your savings, leave that money in checking, and create a 3 to 6 months expenses savings account, and then you can begin investing 15%. Beyond that, start saving up for a house. Was that your next goal?
Yeah, I think eventually that's the route I want to go to. My one thing with that is I know, investing at a young age is so much more important than investing later on. Yeah. And with the market taking such a big hit right now, I think, it's just such a great opportunity to keep, really aggressively investing at this age.
Yeah, and it is. So, and I even love the framework that you have when it comes to the market, because a lot of people are panicked and freaked out and they don't want to put money in. When you're in a position that you're in with no debt and you have, soon an emergency fund, that's where the perfect time to be investing aggressively. So yeah, you're exactly on the right track, Bo. I don't think that you're going to go wrong anywhere here. I would though have some money liquid just in case something happens, you're able to get to it quickly.
And to your question, Bo, you were saying that the liquid cash scares you because it's not beating inflation. But the purpose of the emergency fund is not to be an investment. It's insurance. And so insurance protects what you're trying to build. And so I'm totally okay with your emergency fund not being invested and just sitting in a boring savings account making you 1%. I'm totally good with that because when an emergency hits, I don't want you dipping into your investment accounts to cover that. I want you to cover that with your emergency fund. That's what it's there for. So I like keeping things neat and tidy and separate so that no one gets confused here. And to your question of investing aggressively, you're going to be a multimillionaire just based on the numbers you told me. If you don't let lifestyle creep into your life as you get this raise, you keep living on less than you make, you invest. I also know there's other goals. It's not all about investing. You have to live your life. You've got to go on vacations. You're going to want to upgrade the car. You're going to want to buy a house. So balance it a little bit. I can tell with young investors, Rachel, which I love.
I know.
They tend to get real tunnel vision when it comes to investing, and that's all they think about.
Well, and it's a good point and it's easy to because you see the math and like what he said, he's like, I know investing early on is so much better because you see compound interest, so you see the math, you see the dollar signs in your eyes, and you're like, heck, why would I do anything else except for put money in because of what it could do with compound interest? But you don't factor in life into the equation, and who knows, Bo, you can meet a girl tomorrow and you kind of fall in love and you're going to want an engagement ring. You know what I'm saying? Like anything can happen in life, and having money there is huge, and having it as part of your life strategy, knowing that, yes, while investing is exciting and the earlier you start, the better off you're going to be, all of that. But there's also life.
And with the numbers you shared, Bo, I'm seeing a lot of what I assume is single stocks in the Fidelity account potentially, and Bitcoin, and a little bit in the 401k. I would flip-flop that and lean into the 401k, invest in good growth stock mutual funds. And then if you want to play with some crypto or single stocks on the side, that's fine. But I don't want it to be a large portion of your net worth because they are way more volatile than your mutual funds.
Yeah, when your whole retirement... if all of your retirement is in Bitcoin, which I know Bo's isn't, but that's not a great plan. Not a great plan.
Agreed.
All right, George, we've been hitting the road recently.
Yeah, we were in Orlando last week.
Yes, and they're there right now with our Entree Summit event with 3,000 business leaders there. And so it feels like life is back. And this fall, it's game on.
It's so fun.
The schedule has hit, and we are pumped to be back on the road. So if you can just imagine the energy of a jam-packed arena with people ready to experience what it means to live life to the fullest. So picture all of your favorite speakers together on one stage, empowering you with principles so that you can have unstoppable momentum in your life. And that, my friends, is the SMART Conference. And we have not done it. It feels like in a few years. We did it here in Nashville last year. But man, it's been 3 years. That's right. Yeah. And so we are going to Dallas Saturday, October 22nd. And this is our biggest event of the year. It's always kind of the blowout event, and you don't want to miss it. It's a day-long event with the leading experts when it comes to money, personal growth, leadership, mental health, relationships, and your career. You'll leave with all the knowledge and motivation that you need to have to reach your goals and to live the life that you want. And so here, it's all of the Ramsey personalities will be on the stage.
Whole gang.
So Dr. John, let me see if I can do them all.
Ooh,
here we go. Dave
it's a
Ramsey.
quiz. Yep.
Dr. John Zaloni, Ken Coleman, Christina Ellis, George Camel, Rachel Cruz.
Nailed it.
Eddie and Courtney will be hosting.
Yep.
One of them, or they'll be around.
A+, gold star.
And then our special guests, Craig and Amy Rochelle from Life Church, are coming as well to kind of round out that spiritual element of our lives. But all of it, you guys, it is a fun event. So make sure to get your tickets. They just start at $39, an amazing price for a full day event. So go to RamseySolutions.com/events to learn more. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I am Rachel Cruz, co-hosting today with Ramsey personality George Camel. All right, up next is Tanner from North Carolina. Hey, Tanner, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel and George.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're doing well. How can we help?
I had a quick question. I'm currently 19 years old. I drive a 300,000-mile vehicle. It runs fantastic, and I have no problems thus far with it. But I was wondering, what is the age to stop spending on wants and start spending on the future? I always hear people say, oh, I wish I'd started this or that. Does that mean they started 22 or 25 or 19? My real question is, I'm looking to, when this vehicle dies, to maybe get a nicer vehicle, obviously pay cash for it. But I was thinking something around the $30,000 mark with get something cool and fun like a muscle car. Would this be a wise choice, or should I perhaps get another $6,000 vehicle that'll last for another 5 or 6 years, and then invest that money in a down payment or something like that?
Yeah, great question, Tanner. Are you in school right now? Are you working? What's kind of your status?
I'm currently working. I do a side hustle, and I also have a main job.
Okay, and how much do you make a year?
Approximately $30,000 combined.
Okay. So our rule of thumb, just to answer the car question, and then George can jump into the kind of the lifestyle question, but the car, we always say that you don't want anything on wheels to be half of your annual income. So if you were to go and save up for a $30,000 car, while you're making $30,000, that would not be smart, because that would mean most of what you're making is your net worth is in your car. So if you were still making 30, I would shoot for a $15,000 car at the most, but you can still get a great car for $10,000, $12,000, you know, even below $15,000. So if you have the cash and you're able to pay for it in full, then that's kind of where I would recommend. Do you have any debt right now?
I do not. Nope, no debt.
How much money do you have in the bank?
So I was a little unwise with spending. So about 3 months ago, I had probably about $100. I've thus tightened down, and in the last 3 months, I've accumulated $8,500 through working and just really
you must be saving every penny, man.
Yeah, definitely big change.
Wow. Well, to your original question, you said, what's the proper age to stop spending on wants and plan for the future? And the truth is, you're always going to be buying things that you want, and you should always be planning for the future. So I don't see them as mutually exclusive. I see them as things you factor into your monthly budget. So have some things that you're looking forward to, some short-term goals, but also be investing for the future in a retirement plan. Do you have any kind of plan through your employer right now for that?
There is a plan through my employer, but currently I'm not signed up for that.
Okay. Now, I do want you to have a fully funded emergency fund, which may be that $8,500 you're sitting on, which means we're not going to touch it for the car. We need to set up a different savings account to start saving up for that next car.
Yeah, so I would probably, honestly, if I were you, Tanner, just because it has 300,000 miles on it, which is awesome that you've literally driven it to that point, but it's probably getting close to its last leg there, just from a mileage perspective.
What kind of car is this? I'm just curious.
It is a 2007 Ford Edge.
Ford Edge.
Nice.
All right, let's go Ford. I was going to assume Toyota or
I was
Honda.
going to say a Camry. Camry is where I would put my money, but
Toyota. Rachel.
Toyota.
I get made fun of for how I say it.
What do you say?
I say Toyota. And they say it's Toyota.
Sorry, Tanner. I'm so sorry you had to hear that. through the phone.
It's fine.
That's a terrible
Ford
way to
Edge.
pronounce it.
Way to go, Ford. Making a car that lasts a long time.
So Tanner, I would do your emergency fund, which again, George said could be that $8,500, and then I probably would sit there and save a little bit more cash, because what I don't want to happen is that wonderful Ford with 300,000 miles suddenly becomes undrivable, and you're like, oh gosh, and then you have to dip into your emergency fund. So I would start saving on the side for a car. But I would only do that for maybe, I don't know, what would you say, George? Maybe 6-7 months. And then I would start investing. So I would kind of do both at the same time, but I would jumpstart that car fund even before investing, because of what it's going to cost you.
Yeah, and I would definitely try to get your income up, because you're working, you said you have a full-time job and a side hustle, and you're pulling in $30,000. What kind of job is this?
I'm a technician for, I pull fiber and data cables for installing things such as printer jacks that you plug into your printer, setting up server towers.
Cool.
That kind of stuff.
Well, I would see what roles in that industry you could step into, grow into, even talk to your employer about what growth looks like. I mean, you're 19. You got your whole life ahead of you. I've no doubt you're going to do great. But I think with that income, it's going to be harder to save up. It's going to be harder to invest, harder to get a down payment, making $30,000.
Yeah, so you're on the right track though, Tanner. You're doing an awesome job. All right, up next is Tyler from Boston. Hey, Tyler, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how you doing? Appreciate you taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So I'm currently in baby step 2. However, I was just contacted by my landlord, who I've been renting for the last couple of years, and basically told me he's going to be selling the condo that I'm living in, and presented me with 2 options. Option 1 being to sell it to a real estate investor who will keep me on as a tenant. However, he's going to bring rent up to what some more units are getting. I'm currently paying a pretty decent deal, paying less. Option 2 would be he would sell it to me for about $5 to $10 grand under market value. So I'm just kind of curious what you guys would suggest in this. Being in baby step 2, I know you typically advise wait until for down the road to get a down payment, but being sold at under market value and the mortgage payment coming about to be the same as the rent would be, what you guys would recommend here.
Yeah, it's a great question, and I understand from the math perspective, it seems like it would be a wash. It's like, well, if I'm paying rent, might as well be paying mortgage, but you don't factor in everything else that goes into owning, even if it's a condo, townhome, house, everything else. So even though it seems like a great deal right now, even though he's going to give you a little bit less, it's in the long run, Tyler, I don't think it's a smart move for where you're at. You have no cash in the bank. You don't have an emergency fund. You still have debt. All of it just kind of seems like a setup for disaster. And we always say when you want to own something like real estate, your home, we want it to be a blessing, not a curse. And setting yourself up in this particular situation, I think would be hard. So I would not go forward with it.
Yeah. Tyler, how much debt do you have?
So I found you guys about 5 months ago, started with $116,000 of student loans, car, and got that down to about $70,000 now in the last 5
Nice,
months.
Tyler. Great
Awesome.
job.
What's your income?
Well, I've recently just switched jobs and got my income from $85,000 to $120,000.
Heck yeah.
Amazing.
That's fantastic. So this debt's going to be gone within, year and a half or so?
Yep, my spreadsheet has me about a year and a half to maybe just shy of 2, depending on how some expenses go.
Fantastic.
Incredible.
Well,
Incredible.
I want you to be a homeowner. I just don't want this home to have you. And I know it's a slight deal, but we don't know what the market's going to do. It could even out. And I want you to get a home when the time is right, when it's going to be a blessing in your life and not a curse. And right now, when you're sitting on $70,000 in debt with those payments, you have no down payment, you have no emergency fund. That's a scary place to be.
And there's something too about, obviously Tyler probably loves the condo he's in, or he wouldn't be there to an extent. But also when you own a home, it's like you want to be able for it to be exactly what you want. I mean, I know it's not going to be the perfect situation for, we're not, no one's ever going to get exactly what they want. But if it's kind of like, I just happen to be in here and I happen to be able to buy it, sometimes that works out. But also you never know what, you could be in a different area and get, an even better condo for less. I mean, you have more options when you have options, but when you're stuck into a singular decision, sometimes you don't always make the best decision. And that urgency is there too. So I totally get that, Tyler, of like, oh man, this would be so nice. We could just do this and I wouldn't have to move and my rent wouldn't go up, all of it. But if I were you, I think in the long run, it's going to be better just to have the patience and save up and pay for something later on down the road.
I feel for those people who want to be homeowners right now, and it's just so deflating.
Oh, it's terrible, y'all. It's terrible. Oh, it's so frustrating.
We acknowledge that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the hard thing is too, though, that like we say it around here, but it's true. We're not exempt from math. And there's still a formula to be said when it comes to being wise about making one of the largest purchases you'll ever make in your lifetime when it comes to real estate. And it's not something you want to rush into. You want to make sure you have solid financial foundation under you, even if that means it's going to take time. The patience is worth it. This is The Ramsey Show.
Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. So on Friday of this past week, George and I hosted, and we had a call, and it ended up being kind of a memorable one. Not necessarily because of the call, but more so because of, I'm going to say George's reaction. Maybe my reaction played into it.
Your reaction to my reaction.
That's what it was.
So meta.
So if you...
You want me to recap it for him?
Yeah.
Okay.
You go.
Here's what happened, America. Katie called in from Kentucky in a rural area there, and she had makes $34,000 a year, had a side hustle where she would do horseback riding on one of her horses for about $300 a month. Horse gets injured, that depletes her side hustle money that was coming in, so now she's asking us for what side hustle options she has. At the end of the call, I ask how much debt she has. Turns out she has $118,000 in debt, making $34,000, and that's when I realized this is a very bad situation. This is not side hustle your way out with. She was making $100 a month selling quilts on Etsy, and in my head I'm going, this is not going to cut it. We need to do better. So at the end of the call, I said, "Hey, Katie, I want to challenge you. Could you sell the horse?" And the reaction from Rachel, from the booth, from the lobby.
That was not the reaction. The reaction was, "Hey, would you sell the horse?" And Katie says, "No." And George says, "It doesn't even know your name, Katie."
Which I do regret. I said it in a moment of passion because I want to help Katie win financially. And as much as I love animals, I'm not an animal hater. I never said shoot the horse.
Oh my gosh.
There's another family that could have the horse. And here's what happened. Katie emailed us with photos of her riding said horse. We have the photos to show you if you're watching on YouTube.
It's very impressive.
An amazing horse. So you want to read part of her email?
Yes. So she emails after the show and says, "My name is Katie and I live in Kentucky. I called earlier this afternoon and was fortunate to have my call on the Ramsey Show. I feel like I caused a large debate over selling the horse or not, so I wanted to follow up. My
True
horse
statement.
Moose is 16 years old and is a barrel horse. I've owned him for 11 years. He is a top performance horse worth $20,000 in today's market. Moose and I have traveled the entire Midwest together and have shown and won too many things to list. We have been through surgeries and fear all the way to happiness together."
She went on to say, yes, horses are expensive. However, I sacrifice multiple things in order to be able to afford to have him and show him. Yes, you have, Katie. My plan is to heavily focus on growing my sewing business while my horse is on stall rest. Yes, the vet bills will be covered without going into debt. Thank you, emergency fund. Good for you, Katie. She's in FPU. She's working through baby step 2. She can't wait to be debt-free and come do her scream on the show without selling her $20,000 horse, she adds. I love the show and have learned a vast amount about finance. Hope you all enjoy reading this email. Thank you so much, Katie and Moose, the horse. So,
it is signed Katie and Moose.
So appreciate the photos. There's a lot of things I learned after this email.
And you know what? I may have a different take now that I've really processed it.
Wow. Have you changed your mind?
I have not changed my mind. I think Moose is just going to be a very expensive pet in her life. But I think she needs to quit everything that she's doing and go get another full-time job that has nothing to do with quilts, has nothing to do with horses, and then get 2 part-time jobs after the full-time job. I think she just needs to shift careers.
I agree, which it sounded like she was working at the USDA and she had just shifted out of her vet technologist kind of role. And so I think at that point, why don't you shift again? And she lives in a rural area, so there's not a lot of jobs. Obviously, she can't up and move because the horse has her tied down.
Stop it. She can move.
She can't. No, she's got the horse. How do you move with a horse? You got to find an area at the farm.
I'm not a horse. I don't know.
The stable.
I'm not a horse.
Here's my thing.
I should have Googled more about having a horse before we brought the segment back up.
You know this. Horse people are passionate people. They love horses more than life itself, and I applaud them for
CrossFitters, vegans, and horse people.
And so she's one of those. But here's what I found.
People.
Horse people are willing to sacrifice just about everything to have this horse.
Yeah.
And that's what hurt my heart was I want Katie to win financially.
Yes.
And I just was going, she's going to be in debt for the rest of her life at this point because these side hustles aren't panning out. And so to her credit, we did not give her enough side hustle options that she could do in her area because I don't live in a rural part of Kentucky, but I did look up her city in Kentucky on Indeed, and there are many, many part-time jobs that pay over $20 an hour.
Well done, George.
So my challenge to Katie is to jump on Indeed or whatever job search site you want to go to and go find a better part-time job. I don't think right now is the time to jump into passion projects.
That is the truth. Yes. And I don't even know if I want to say this.
Say it.
But don't let an animal hold you back to winning financially.
There we go. That's a much nicer way to put it.
Is that a fair thing to say?
Very diplomatic. The way I said it was not.
No, but if you can find a way to still keep the horse, because I've heard other hosts on this show talk about like, hey, if you have a classic car that you built with your dad 30 years ago, like you can keep that. You don't have to sell. Like there's certain things you don't.
There's sentimental value.
Yes.
Even Dave would say, all right, fine. He's even said, hey, keep the gun. It's sentimental. You want to pass it down to your kid. Keep whatever,
right?
Because it has a lot of sentimental value.
Yeah, so the horse could be that, right?
Agreed. She's not going to sell the horse. She's made that clear.
Yes.
My job is to find out what people are willing to do to get out of debt. And so I was just poking to go, would you be willing?
Just want to see.
I poked the bear. I poked the horse, really.
Oh, gosh.
And wow, got a hoof in my face from everyone on the internet. Some people are like, I'm never listening to this guy again.
Were they pro?
There were a few people that are pro. They're Team George who said, yeah, she needs to sell the horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's worth $20,000. It's worth more than Katie herself. Think about that. I'm just saying on a net worth level.
Oh,
the horse isn't in debt.
In a net worth level. Yeah,
on a net worth level. No, human life over everything.
Value. I don't know.
Guys, this is my last day on air.
I
was trying to do a nice thing.
Yourself.
Rachel, I can count on one finger how many times someone's apologized on the show, and it's me. I apologize to Katie for saying that the horse doesn't know her name. Someone sent me a video of a horse knowing someone's name.
More than $20,000. Maybe not on paper, Katie, because technically your net worth, yes, is in the negative. But who she is worth more.
Really, guys?
That's what it sounded like, George.
Rachel,
that's what it sounded like.
Don't be triggered by me. Listen, it's not worth it, okay? We all know I was not saying that. I love Katie. I want her to win. I can't wait for her to do her debt-free scream and find out what side hustles she picked up.
Yes.
What happened with the horse. Is the horse going to be okay? I hope so after the surgeries.
I hope so.
And the other horse, she had 2 horses, by the way. The other one was adopted, and it's a younger horse. So I apologize to Moose as well.
Yeah. Say, look in that camera, George.
Moose.
And say, Moose.
I don't know what camera. Moose, I love you. I'm pulling for you, buddy. Hope you get well soon. Get back on the track and get Katie's side hustle alive again. Thank you, Katie.
So speaking of side hustles, what were some of the things you found? Because in a metropolitan area, side hustles are everywhere, whether it's driving for, delivery or Uber, whatever it is.
I filtered,
but if you are,
within 25 miles, 17 plus an hour.
Throw out some options, because other people might be listening
level,
that are thinking,
high school degree, accounting associate.
Nice.
There's one, sales representative. And a lot of these people provide training.
That, and it's remote work. So even if you are in a rural area, you can still plug into a company.
There's a lot of remote jobs.
A lot of remote jobs that are happening. So even if you are somewhere that you're not near a big city, you can still have a great income by doing a lot of this remote work.
And so that's always my question when someone says, hey, I've got a side hustle, I make XYZ and sell it on Etsy, and they're making $100. I go, well, you can make more than that in 4 hours working at the Walmart down the road, which there is a Walmart in their town. They're probably hiring. They probably pay $17, $18 an hour these days.
Yeah.
So why not do that for a shift after your full-time job?
Yes.
And make $500 a month? Because
also, this is the time, if you're listening, just using her as an example, but when you are in debt and you don't have an emergency fund, you're kind of in this situation. The time when it comes to your job and how you make money, it's not going to be your heart, your soul, your passion, your life calling. You're going to just do what you can to bring in the most money as possible during that period. And then once you don't have debt and you have a savings account, you're like, okay, I can I have options. I have options. But for now, the goal is not going after what your heart desires. It really is like, hey, what can I do to make the most money to get out of debt as quickly as possible?
Good talk.
George?
I'm done with horse content. I'm horsed out.
We're leaving it. We are leaving it. Okay, this is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. It's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. All right, up next is Linda from San Antonio. Hey, Linda, welcome to the show.
Hi there. I'm kind of excited to talk to you all. I've listened to your dad for years.
Oh, so great, Linda. Well, I'm glad you called. Yeah. How can we help?
Well, I gave the screener some information. I am an everyday millionaire. But
nice, Linda.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Yes. My husband and I worked really hard for it, and he's gone now. I've been a widow about 6 years, but he had me set up pretty well. So the issue I have, you had somebody on who was still working, and this is a great time to be investing. Okay, I have about $400,000 in various things, an IRA and Roth and a brokerage account. And then because of where we worked, I also have about a $650 annuity that's not annuitized. It was part of my husband and my retirement from where we were working. I don't have to ever annuitize it, and I don't intend to. I'm more off of the other stuff, I think. But I kind of wonder if I should be investing right now or just sitting this out, because I am 73. So, I don't know how long I'm going to live. I could live, a long time. And you do have to be exposed if you're, a little bit.
Sure. No, absolutely. So Linda, tell me, what other money do you have? Because if you are an everyday millionaire, is some of that in your home? Do you have a paid off house? Do you have other accounts?
Last year I sold my residence. I had a condo and also had a rental property, and I sold them both and ended up buying I was in a 2-story condo, and I wanted a 1-story with a yard, so I did that. And I got a good price on the condos, but then I had to pay a bigger price than I wanted for this house. So it's like $58,000 mortgage, and Oh, it's $276 a month, and I have a financial planner, and she doesn't think I should pay it off. And of course, I haven't had a mortgage in a long time, so I've thought about paying it off. I have about $40,000 in emergency fund, and my checking account. So I guess I have about $50,000 between the two of them, and I have about $48,000 a year income from retirement, and then I spend about $70,000.
You spend $70,000?
Yeah, the rest of it's from investments.
Okay.
It throws off cash, so
All right.
And you're completely retired. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I actually wondered if I ought to go be driving around pizzas or something.
You're doing great,
well,
Linda.
never mind.
You're doing great.
So, Linda, the $400,000, that's currently invested?
Yes. The brokerage is actually in dividend-producing stocks, and the IRA and the traditional IRA and the Roth are in mutual funds, different mutual funds, which are producing quite well. And each one of those has a significant amount of cash because last year I sold a lot of things and there was nothing to buy. So there is a substantial, in all three of those accounts, there's a fair amount of cash.
Well, you're asking, how should you be investing? Because it sounds like this money's already invested. What money are you looking to invest?
Should I be buying things now with some of the cash value that I have in those various accounts, or should I wait?
If it's sitting on the cash side, I would definitely be investing that.
Okay.
And I would stay aggressive. I know that's a hot take in the financial planning world, Rachel, with asset allocation theory basically being, well, Linda's 73. We need to put her in the most conservative bonds possible so that she doesn't lose money. But what happens is Linda's going to live another 20 years, and that account's going to get depleted, right?
That's kind of what I'm afraid of.
So we like to stick to the same strategy with growth stock mutual funds. And yes, there's going to be some volatility, but we found, and statistics will back this up, that you'll end up doing better having invested a little more aggressively than if you left it real conservative.
Even at your age, Linda. So, yep, that's it. So, well done, though. I mean, what an incredible job.
Yeah. And I'd get that mortgage paid off. I'm not your financial planner, but you might need to fire them.
The fact that that's their advice, Linda, I really would look at, we have SmartVestor Pros. We actually just met 3 out in the lobby.
Yeah, awesome
from all over the country. And I would look for somebody else that has the idea of, hey, we want you to be able to have no debt and be investing in something even a little bit more aggressively than just standard traditional bonds that some financial planners will put you in. But I like where you're at, where you're sitting. You're pretty well diversified, and it's great. So thanks, Linda. Thanks so much for the call. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer for custom window coverings. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promo codes they run every month, you'll save even more. Use promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from Amai in New Jersey. My husband and I have paid off our credit card debt and have $31,000 in car loans left to pay off. I'm thinking about selling my dream car in order to be debt-free. I owe $17,000 and the car is worth $30,000. We have 2 other vehicles, a beater that my husband can continue to drive and a 2014 F-150 that I would drive. I think I could sell my car for about $27,000 and use the $10,000 profit towards the $14,000 truck loan. We're currently renting, and this step could get us closer to buying a home. Please tell us if this is a good idea, as this is a very emotional decision for me.
Oh man, it's a lot of numbers. So $31,000 in car loan left to pay off. She could get $10K profit if she sold the car. So she'd be down, to 21.
So I'm seeing here they have 3 cars currently.
Yes.
And one truck has a $14K loan. The dream car has a $17K loan. But that $17K loan, she could sell that same car for $27,000 to $30,000, making a nice profit right now. So I'm a big fan of that.
For sure, yes.
Now the emotion I think is coming out of this is my dream car. Anytime I see the word dream, I think, wow, it's the only one in existence.
It's the only one ever that will ever be built in the history of this world, whether it's a car or a home. Yeah, the dream, that word, it holds a lot of emotion and sometimes not the wisest financial decisions.
That's true.
Because of what we believe in that. It becomes very singular focus that this is it, and you can make really bad decisions.
You'll never be able to buy this car again.
Never. It's true, George.
So, Well, it's not true,
No,
Rachel.
I'm
It's
kidding.
sarcasm.
I was being sarcastic.
So yes, I would sell that dream car. I would use the profit towards the $14K loan. You're spot on, because this is going to cut your debt-free journey in half.
Yeah,
which
which
I
makes
love.
it so, oh gosh, so fast. It's
So you're
amazing
trading
too,
one sacrifice for another.
and you got 3 cars, so you're going to be okay. It is amazing though when you go on this journey to change your mindset around money, because what Amaya is in is a very normal situation, right? $31,000 in car loans. They had a credit card debt that they've already paid off, but I'm like, it's that lifestyle, the credit card debt, the car loan, even throw in a student loan just for fun. That is the normal mindset in America today when it comes to money. And so shifting that mindset, flipping it on its head and say, okay, what if it looked like if I didn't use credit cards and I paid off my debt? What if I actually drove a car that I could pay cash for, which may mean me selling my current car, or aggressively paying it off? It makes the whole decisions when it comes to money, it changes everything. It changes the way you look at this stuff. And part of that is selling things to be able to get you ahead.
And thinking about opportunity cost. If I drive my dream car, it means we can't be in that house that we want to buy, which she mentioned, for another 5 years. But if we sold the car and we got out of debt faster, we could start saving up for the down payment faster. We could get in that house in 3 years. And so then you start to go, what's more important to me? What do I value more? Looking fancy in a depreciating asset, or being in a home because we've been renting for our whole life?
Yep, and we want to be a homeowner.
You make different decisions when you look at through that lens.
That's the importance too of having long-term and short-term goals, though, to say, hey, what do we want to do? Because if you weren't thinking about buying a house, then you'd probably just be doing what you've been doing today. But for Amaya, it's like, okay, what I want in the future here in the next few years, I can make sacrifices today to get what I really want. That actually would be a smart decision financially.
And that dream, it always changes. 3 years from now, you'll have a different dream.
Absolutely.
So just wait a second.
Absolutely. Well, we want to thank Austin, Kelly, Will, Zach, and Andrew in the booth. Thank you, George, for sitting with me, co-hosting this hour. And thank you, America, for listening. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, it's Rachel Cruz, co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I am Rachel Cruz, and joining me this hour is Ramsey personality George Camel, and we are taking your calls about anything in life, whether it comes to your career, your money, your relationships. So just give us a call at 888-825-5225. It's a free call anywhere in the country. All right. First up is Sierra from Portland, Oregon. Hey, Sierra, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Well, I just became a new mom about 10 and a half months ago.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you so much. My son was born prematurely, and we had to spend some extended time in the NICU. And before that, I was running a very successful business, and it was about a 6-figure business. And because he came so early and we didn't have a plan in place, and I never left the NICU, my business has kind of crumbled. And as a new mom, I'm sure a lot of people laugh at this, but I didn't expect it to be as much work as I thought it would be. Yeah. And I am not willing to sacrifice putting my child in daycare and losing this precious time, because we had infertility issues, and this may be my only chance to experience this. So that value is really high to me. But our income has dropped significantly, probably in half. And I'm wondering, how do I balance work and establishing a business back up and also watching my child while I am married and my spouse works full-time as an apprentice. So he's out 2 nights a week for school. Yeah. And I guess we did the budget, and our mortgage is about 40% of our budget right now. And all of our debts will be paid off, and we'll only have a mortgage by September of this year. Okay.
So how much were you guys making when the business was at its peak? And then what are you guys making now?
About 150 before taxes. And then now we're making about, I'd say, 89K before taxes.
Okay. So about 90. And you guys, with that 90 is when you think you'll be completely debt-free by September?
Yeah, we already have a plan in place. I just have to contribute money to my retirement, my SEP IRA for my business.
Okay. And did your business, was it just you solo doing it, or did you have team members that had to be let go when it crumbled? What was kind of the history of that?
We let someone go when COVID happened, and that's kind of, we had counted on doing something to replace that person when the baby came, but life just kind of changed.
Yeah, for sure. So what kind of business is it?
I do personalized drinkware, and I used to do wedding signs, but that COVID kind of took that away.
Yes, the wedding market. Well, it's back. I feel like it's...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know it's like the perfect time to rebound, but the time has been hard. And we also do, I should say, we will have already 3 months of savings saved up. We've been really good with money, and we have been paying extra on our mortgage so far, but now we're kind of like, oh, what do we do? How do we allocate money? Like, what if the economy crashes?
Sure. Well, you guys got a lot of things going on. So here's what I would say.
Yeah, sorry.
The fact, no, it's not a bad thing at all. So when it comes to the financial part of this conversation, you guys are still contributing to retirement. You have an emergency, like you kind of have everything before baby step 2. And we talk about baby step 2 is putting everything to get out of debt. But with these numbers, if you guys are going to be out of debt in September, that's currently when you're calling. I mean, that's going to be in about 3-4 months. So I'm not overly concerned with what you guys have. George may push back a little bit on that. I don't know.
I'm just wondering what the timeline would look like if you didn't invest right now, if you took everything in savings but the $1,000 and threw it all at the debt. Could you be debt-free by next month?
So I have to contribute the money because I stated I would contribute the money with our tax return. So I always wait until the end, and they're like,
so you essentially pledged this money, and the IRS is like, hey, you said you were going to invest this.
Yeah, and I do have the money. The way my business is I'm doing more wholesale orders, and they have net 30 through the platform I sell on to pay. So my money's being held, which I know your dad would have a cow over this, Rachel, but it's just the way that I'm kind of set up. So I'm looking towards diversifying more towards another platform that I was on that was really lucrative. So
So is the business currently making money?
Yeah, so far this year, I have done about, I would say, 30K in revenue.
Dang.
But my problem, too, is like supplies have doubled the cost, like not doubled, but they've increased dramatically, and my profit margins are so much smaller. So
have you raised your prices?
Making money. I have. I just recently did that. And I've cut my pay down to just $1,000 a month so that I can make sure I'm buying supplies.
Okay.
So are you wanting to continue doing this business from home while caring for your son?
Yes.
What is that the end goal? Like, you don't want to just be full-time watching your son, and you can't be full-time in the business. You want to kind of split your time a little bit.
Yes, that's correct. And I think it'll get easier. My husband turns out as an apprentice. He'll be done. He'll be a journeyman next June 2023. So
so it feels like a year from now, your life looks very different, and you can start to rebuild the business while you're caring for your son at home, while your husband increases his income and finishes the apprenticeship. And so this feels like a temporary problem.
Yeah, because we have been listening to y'all for a while now, and we're like, should we sell our house? It takes up too much of our budget. Like, we're living outside of our means.
Well, it sounds like with this business that you have going, if you can keep this up, you'll have that mortgage payment be a lot less than 40%.
Yeah, I think that if I went back on track and I had some time and someone to watch my son, but my parents, all of our family lives too far away. So,
so what I would say is, Sierra, you may not let it, it may not go back to what it was because you're not going to have the time you had obviously before. And since you're wanting to be so hands-on with your son, which I think is amazing, and I think that that's a life value that's going to drive a lot of your other decisions. That's actually a great one. Then you guys need to make a realistic plan and a realistic goal of, okay, hey, I was making 6 figures out of this business. It's really, I'm going to shoot to make 50,000 this year or 60,000, whatever you think is realistic, of figuring out what you can do that feels balanced for you at home. And then from those numbers, figure out if the house is too much. Because if it goes down, to 28% at that point, then you might be okay. But if it's still hovering around 35%, then you guys probably do have a lot of house and you can make progress much faster.
We have a lot of equity in our home, and when he turns out, we could sell our house and move to a different state and pay cash for a house and be completely debt-free.
Yes,
and that's something that we've talked about.
Yeah, so it's options like that, Sierra, definitely that I would look at, and to know that you're gonna be spending a lot of time with that baby, which I think is amazing, but it is going to make your work. The time is going to be a little bit less, which is totally fine. But I think you guys are on the right track. I think your values are exactly where they need to be, and you guys are just making great decisions. So thanks for the call. This is The Ramsey Show.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I am Rachel Cruz, co-hosting today with George Campbell. And up next is Mary from Des Moines. Hey, Mary. Welcome to the show.
Oh, my gosh. Is this real life? Rachel, George, hello.
It's an alternate reality. You're in the metaverse. Welcome.
I am very excited. This is the second best day of my life.
What was the first?
My wedding.
Oh,
this is my third best day.
That's impressive.
That's awesome. So great. How can we help?
Okay. Well, my husband is in the end of his residency, and right now he's making $62K. And then he just got a new job, and so it's going to put him at $200K.
Oh, wow. Woo.
Yeah.
It's a nice
and
jump.
Then, so it is very blessing and nice, yes. And he also is being offered a $75K sign-on bonus. So as I would love a horse or a dream car, I would love to be out of debt more. So
love it.
Good, Mary.
Good, Mary. We are on the right track.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Don't put the horse before the cart.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. So my question is, should we buy or rent? We're moving to another state. And then should we put the $75,000 towards student loans? Because we do have, that's our debt right now is $134,000 in student loans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that all of your debt?
That is all of our debt.
Okay. All right, Mary. If I woke up in your shoes, I love that line because it just really, what would you do? Right?
Yeah.
So I would definitely rent for multiple reasons. One, you guys still have the student loan hanging over your head. Number two, you're moving to a new area and planning routes down where you're not 100% sure exactly maybe where you want to be in the city. Logistically, sure. I don't think it's smart. So I would rent regardless of even if you had this debt or not. I would still recommend renting just to kind of get your feet wet and understand, okay, here's where we want to be, what part of town we want to be in. all of that. So I would still live, Mary, like you guys are in residency. I would still live like you are making $62 a year. And I would throw all of your income, the 75, everything. I would throw everything at this debt, because if you guys still lived like you were making 60, you guys could have this paid off, in 18 months, 14 months. Sure. And it's crazy to think, because yes, it's a lot of debt, $134,000, but you guys have a huge shovel with this $275,000. So it's an incredible opportunity to be able to be out of debt. Well, you'll be out of debt in a year.
I'm doing math here.
Gosh,
you'll have 59 left. If you throw the 75 at the 134, it leaves you with 59 in student loans, making 200. Okay. So let's say you net, 130, 140 after taxes, and you lived on a net of 40, 50. This debt's gone within 7-8 months.
Okay. So, we have 4 little kids. So what should, you said live like no one else. You can live like no one else.
Yeah.
Yes. So just live on the least amount possible. And then
how have you guys been living?
Rent?
How have you guys been living on the 62?
Okay. So we use every dollar.
Yes.
And true confession is we have meetings every week or month, and then it's like, oh, we went over for whatever reason, this happened. So we don't use the cash system, which maybe is something we should be doing, because we use the every dollar, and we're like, oh, this is the same, but it's not, because it's almost like we're not doing it, but we're trying, but we're,
Yep. No, absolutely.
So
so the budget, sure. Yeah, but have you guys gone into debt for lifestyle, or you've lived at 62,000?
We have lived at that.
Yeah. Okay, so the point is, you can do that for another year. You guys, and it's not fun. It's going to be miserable knowing, golly, he's gone through residency. All of us, and we're getting these huge paychecks.
He makes so much money. Why aren't we feeling it yet?
Yeah, so I really would, though.
We don't have it, yeah.
Yeah, and I would, Mary. I would still, just in your mindset, and it is a mental decision to say, okay, we are still going to live the exact same lifestyle we've been living for one more year. Okay. And that's it. I mean, you guys could be completely debt free. And then think about this, Mary. When you have no debt and you have $275,000 coming in throughout the year, that's all yours. You guys are going to be able to build up an emergency fund so quickly. You're going to be able to have so much margin, so much breathing room. But if you don't go ahead and just make this intense move of this idea of, hey, we're going to pay all of this off so quickly, man, it could hang and drag, and then you're going to get a great paycheck, and it's still going to be going out to student loans. So make this line in the sand, you guys together, and do every dollar and really stick to it. And so I want you to hold on the line, because I'm going to ship you guys a Rachel Cruz wallet.
Ooh.
Because in that is the built-in is the envelope system. And so cash out your groceries, cash out your IT, look at the places that you guys tend to overspend, and buckle down and kind of go from a clean slate. Because I think with budgeting, it can be defeating, because you feel like, gosh, we tried and it just isn't working. So you have to have this new mindset of, hey, just pretend it's like your first time, and give yourself 3 months to really get more in the habit. And I promise, the more intentional you are with it, and the more boundaries you set, and the more realistic your budget is, because your budget may not have been realistic to your lifestyle.
$200 for food for 6 people?
Yeah.
I didn't know that wasn't going to be enough.
That's right.
Whatever it is. But there is a point to that, Rachel, of when you're doing a budget, you have to look at the budget before you spend. A lot of people just go spend, and they look at the budget and go, oh, I went over. How did that happen? Well, did you look to see how much money you had left in your grocery budget? And so when you do it that way, that helps a lot. To go, how much money do we have left? We didn't allocate enough. Let's increase it. Let's move some things over here in this category. Let's cut a subscription to create that margin. And next month, we're going to do better. And if you do that, you will win with money over time. Yeah.
And Mary, you guys are in such a great position. You've done the hard work. You know what it feels like to live at $64,000 with 4 or 5 kids, that you have. And you guys can keep doing it. Just keep on that. Cut it. And man, you guys can be debt free so quickly. It's amazing. All right, up next is Sean from Chicago. Hey, Sean, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you guys?
Doing well. How can we help?
Yeah, so this is a pretty cool question, but it's kind of complex. So I currently am working as an accountant, and I actually found another job at another position at a worldwide company. I thought this was good for newer opportunities, and also I was actually currently in a toxic environment with my manager. But as I actually applied and accepted a new offer, I was counter-offered at my current position. And this is kind of appealing to me because this is actually a promotion. This is a new position. This is a step up to where I am right now. It also will mean I have a new manager, so maybe the toxicity might go down. We also assured that I will be in better hands now rather than the 2 years that I've already been here. And I will also have a $10,000 increase in my salary.
Amazing.
So the new position at the bigger company, it's actually kind of a step down. I wanted a new opportunity as soon as possible. I found this position. To step down to where I am right now, I would be making less. I would be making the same amount that I currently do. So I would be making the same amount that I currently do, but I would be not making that $10,000 if I were to go to the new position. So I'm young. I'm 23 right now, and I'm kind of just trying to figure out.
So what's your question?
Yeah,
which one do you take?
I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, which one to take. Is it necessarily a bad thing if I took the counter offer?
I mean, do you trust the leadership at the company you're currently at? Do you like it there? Other than that one bad manager?
Other than that, I do. I do get along with everybody here. They get along with me, and that's why they counter offered me. And I do like it here. I would want to get that new position, that new title on my resume, and that $10,000 bonus would be nice as well. So,
Sean,
big deal, man.
I think the answer's kind of easy.
I'm sticking with this company, taking the pay raise, taking the new position.
What's making you hesitant? What makes you want to go down in position and keep the same income at a different company?
Well, I've heard bad things about taking a counter offer. Like down the line, you're gonna get out of it within 6 months.
You'll be fine. You're 23, man. If it doesn't work out a year from now, you can still go find another job.
You got lots of options out there in the world, but this sounds like a great one. They want to keep you, so they're showing you the money and giving you
show me the money, and they did.
Yeah, it's awesome, Sean. I'd stay, take the new position, and if it's still terrible, then you can leave in 6 months. This is the Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. It's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. And up next is Ashley from Charlotte, North Carolina. Hey, Ashley, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you guys today?
Doing great. How can we help?
Awesome. So it's kind of an in-depth situation, but I'm going to try to cut to the chase. And if I'm too long-winded, just, cut me off.
Will do.
But the short of it is that I am a business owner in North Carolina, and I've been a business owner for going on 6 years and have been debt-free in business up until this past year, till 2021. In 2020, we actually had the highest year we've ever had, with gross revenues almost at $1 million. And we thought, me and my husband, we don't have a business background. We kind of just fell into this and then took advice from my dad, who's awesome at finances, and, remained debt free. But in 2021, we decided, we really need to get a handle on how to buy inventory properly and also how to do marketing properly. So we got with a company. Not y'all's. I want to clarify that. I was asked that before the call. Not anybody affiliated with the Ramsey program. But basically, it ended us in a lot of debt. We have about $89,500 in debt, and at the end of it, we parted ways. But the ending call was that basically they overbought us, and it was they caused us to overbuy. And I knew in my heart along the way that I felt like I wasn't doing the right thing, but they had over like 35 years of experience, right? And
so is this like like a advisory type business that was helping you look at your business plan, and they were kind of saying, hey, you need to be having this, this, and this.
Go into debt for all this inventory. It'll be great.
Yeah, I guarantee.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, man,
yikes! I'm so sorry.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, so you made the decision. So you paid the stupid tax. That's what we always call it around here. When you do something, you're like, dang it.
And I will never do that again. I literally had, up until that point, we had been debt free in our business, and to me that was like amazing. We almost sold $1 million, and you know, we did it without debt. And I did it based on spreadsheets, like 2 + 2 is 4 math, right? You know. And so I'm at the point, you know, where in November of 2021, we just had to stop the bleeding. And sorry, I'm getting emotional. But
no, it's okay. It's hard.
We had to let go of our staff. We did this because we didn't know what to do, and we were scared that we couldn't pay them, you know, and we couldn't keep going into debt. So we made some really hard decisions, but now my husband got a job, which he actually loves and is doing great. And we still have the business, but we're trying to get back on the other side of this, you know, basically have a real cash flow, a real cash system of everything.
Yeah.
And so my question is, I guess, twofold. Number one is we have a house that's worth about $390,000. It could go for higher because we don't have a lot of stock in our area, so who knows? But I'm really comfortable saying it could go for $390. We owe $238 on it. So besides the business debt and our house, that's the only debt we have. And then the second one is, am I dumb for holding on to this business?
Easy one first, Ashley. You're not dumb.
No.
For holding on to the business or otherwise. This is okay. You're going to get through this.
You're not dumb, Ashley. Now, were there decisions that you're like, man, I hate that I did that? Yes.
Yes.
But no.
Every day for the past 8 months.
Oh, Ashley.
And you want to keep running this business, right?
Stop beating yourself up, Ashley, okay? The decision was made. And you made the decision and you regret it, but I don't want you, that's the thing about money mistakes is they can be so shameful, and there's this inner critic in your ear being like, oh my gosh, or in your head saying, why did you do this? Why did you do this? Why did you do this? So listen, you got to shut that down. Okay. Stop thinking that. Okay. And say, hey, today's a new day. And going forward, I'm making different decisions. I hate that I did that, but hey, so I'm going to be making different decisions. So don't let that tape keep playing in your mind. Sorry, George.
No, it's all good. So you want to keep running this business, correct?
I feel, to be honest, I feel very tainted from it. Like I feel very scarred, so to speak. But every day, even though I feel scarred, I keep waking up and doing it. And I'm like, why do I keep doing it? You know, at this point, I'm kind of, in my head, it's like mixed emotions. I do love it. I love the people. So
what kind of business is it?
So, which I'm glad it's you guys, Rachel and George, because you guys are the, like, what do you call it? The Door Dashers. Like, Dave doesn't like DoorDash and stuff like that. But
I've never heard of
I think he does. But why? Okay, so what is it then?
We are a retail business. So that's another aspect of it is I own a woman's clothing store, and we are online primarily right now because we shut down our storefront due to the pandemic. But we are getting to the point where we do think opening the store back up would bring another cash flow point in, and doing it the right way, not going into debt for it or anything like that. But, you know, having money in the bank and opening it back up to have not only our online up and running, but also in store.
Okay, so when you say that you're hard towards the business, is it more because of the decisions you've made in the business or the business itself? Like if you had no debt on it, would you still want to be doing it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For
so
sure.
I would say it's still in your heart. So how much have you guys made, for instance, this year?
Total household income.
Total household income.
Yeah. What do you think you'll do this year?
Like for the business, is
everything, because your husband's working now at a different job, So what do you think you'll bring in gross as a household?
Gross, I think 380, including the business.
Okay. So to me, this debt is going to be gone in a few months. Right?
It's hard because we have other expenses in the business. So I guess we're kind of conflicted. Like my husband now has taken he worked for the business as well. So he has taken like all of our household expenses is how I look at it in my mind. All of our finances are combined. So I don't want you all to think that, but so he is taking that aspect, and my job basically is to, in the business, just make the money in order to pay down the debt. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so how much would the business make then? How much are you expecting to make this year?
I'm looking at 240 to 300.
To 300, okay.
What's the net profit?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
What would the net profit be on that 240 to 300? Because it sounds like you have a lot of expenses.
Yeah, the net profit of that would probably be around 10 to 12%.
Okay, so you're making 30 off of 300 essentially.
Correct.
Okay, I think we need to figure out how to get that.
That's a lot of expenses.
That's
Ashley.
Slim margins there.
Right, and I think it's because of the space that we're in. Maybe, how much we can wholesale costs have gone up a ton due to supply chain issues, which has also taken a beating on us.
Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate real quick, Ashley. So what if you just got out of the business? What if you woke up tomorrow and you're like, I'm done. Are you able to sell your inventory? How are you able to, would you sell the business to someone else? Like what would that look like to get out of the business?
So I've thought about selling the business to someone else. And honestly, me and my husband just didn't know if that was possible because of the debt it has. I think we do have a sellable business, and that's why I think that I have been holding on to it, because our plan has been to grow it and sell it, right?
Yeah.
So in my eyes, they would get all of our customer list, all of our email list, our text list.
Sure.
They would get all of our inventory and all that. So maybe that's a possibility.
Okay.
We just don't have the knowledge of that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, $90,000 in business debt. You guys could be completely out in 3 years if you just threw everything, or even if you took some of your husband's income, even though he's working for the household expenses, throw some of that and just get your head above water. I
don't think you need to sell the house. You don't need to do that. That's not that drastic.
Nope, not at all. Thanks for the call, Ashley. This is The Ramsey Show.
Three.
There's a new trend, George, that is it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Taking over the world.
It is. Buy now, pay later. Consumer debt jumped $52 billion in March, the largest increase on record. In California, 91% of consumer loans were made in 2020 were the buy now, pay later loans.
Wow.
91%. More than 40% of Gen Z consumers will have used buy now, pay later by the end of the year. It's the highest of any age group. And now those debts are going bad. So it is an interesting thing that is happening in the world of the buy now, pay later.
Yeah.
It's the afterpays.
The Klarna,
Klarnas.
Affirm, QuadPay, Zezzle, I think known as Zip now, QuadPay. And we covered this on the Fine Print podcast that I did. You've covered it on your show. We were just ahead of the trends. And we were like, this is bad. Don't do buy now, pay later.
Warning
and now,
people.
Mainstream media is going, hey, maybe buy now, pay later isn't helping people. Wow.
What a shock.
But if you look at their marketing, I was reading another article. So this one's from nymag.com. Buy now, pay and pay later. Great headline. SFGate did another one on buy now, pay later. And the marketing, they interviewed some of the people at these companies, some of the top executives who were saying, oh, buy now, pay later, it's a budgeting tool. That's what it is.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah, we're not in the lending business. We're helping people with their budget, creating freedom. Because we can spread out their payments month after month after month.
Well, and we were just talking about before the show that because it's 4 payments and it's not 5,
they can avoid regulation.
That they can legally avoid regulation.
The Truth in Lending Act.
Whether it's the fees or the interest rates and stuff, they don't have to abide. They
don't have to be transparent with the full cost of the loan, because they don't have to do that until it's 5 payments. So they get around it by making it just 4.
Just 4 payments. But it is debt, people.
Wow.
It is debt.
Yeah, and this is exploding, especially with influencers on Instagram and TikTok. We're seeing influencers push this because guess what? They're getting a kickback from you using buy now, pay later. The retailers are making money. They're making 45% more on the average store order
because
if they have buy now, pay later.
Because it's incredible what it does just to your mental state when you are buying online, and that comes up and it says, well, instead of $100 for this order, you can just pay $25. You're like, oh, just $25.
It'll free up money in your budget,
That
Rachel.
feels so much better. And then you pay for it the next month, and then maybe you forget the next month, and then that's when the fees kick in and the interest and all of it. I mean, it's just...
And we're seeing a lot of people miss payments because everyone does it with great intentions.
Yes,
going,
that I'll
I'm
be
gonna
fine.
make the
That I'll be fine. I can pay it. And then a month gets tight and you don't have the margin. You don't have the extra, $200 that you had spread across all your buy now, pay later apps.
So it goes on to say, buy now, pay later seduced a generation with a great pitch. The firms position themselves as a financially responsible alternative to credit because, per Afterpay's former executive director, young people, quote, don't want to be on credit. If the first rule of marketing is give people what they want, a corollary is give them what they don't want, just call it something else. So buy now, pay later, they're trying to act like, no, we're not like credit cards. We're like not even really debt. We're just trying to help you spread your payments out. That's all it is. But the truth is they're just as bad, if not more predatory, than any other lender, any other credit card company out there.
That's out there because it is. It's debt. And if you've listened to the show for more than 2 minutes, you know this idea of becoming debt-free. Having no debt, no payments does something not only financially in your life and mathematically, but it does something spiritually for your mental health. You sleep better at night. You make different decisions in life. You maybe even could switch jobs. I mean, there's so much freedom and options and margin that comes with living below your means and getting out of debt. And so one of the best tools that we have that helps people walk through how to manage their money fully, including getting out of debt, is Financial Peace University. So if you've taken Financial Peace University before, which over 10 million people have, you know that it's life-changing, but it's hard to watch other people struggle. When you've gone through this journey and you see other people and they're living paycheck to paycheck, they're not changing their habits, they're continuing to live in the cycle. It is so difficult. So now we have the opportunity to help them change their family tree, and you out there who have gone through Financial Peace University have that ability to be able to give them a Ramsey Plus gift card because it bundles everything they need to win with money in just one gift. So the gift card includes Financial Peace University, a year of the premium version of Every Dollar, which is the best budgeting app. Obsessed, tracked my transactions this morning. Woo. Love it. And now you also have the unlimited group coaching from our own financial coaches.
They're amazing.
Absolutely incredible. And you could pay for all of these separately, but it costs over $500. But now, just through the month of May only, you can get a Ramsey Plus gift card for just $99. And this summer,
that's legit.
Make sure to share the hope that maybe you've discovered by giving someone a Ramsey Plus gift card. So just visit RamseySolutions.com/gift. That's RamseySolutions.com/gift. All right, up next is Joseph from Little Rock, Arkansas. Hey, Joseph, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are y'all?
We're doing great. How can we help?
Well, bottom line, we have a 6-month-old baby, and basically, just want to know how to plan for the future. I mean, the world is crazy. My job, I don't know how long the supply would keep up, and we could hit a hiccup in my job to where, can't get the materials, you can't work. So I'm just trying to figure out the best way to prepare for that long term.
Okay, so you guys are debt free. Do you guys have money saved in the bank?
Yes.
How much do you have? Is it 3? We recommend that 3 to 6 months of expenses.
We have about 28,000.
Okay, so what is that for you guys? Like if you're, so say your job stopped immediately, how many months would you guys have that you'd be okay?
We can live on $1,500 a month.
Okay, and you have how much saved?
We have 28,000.
Oh, wow.
So you got plenty.
You
so
got
a fully
lot.
funded emergency fund for you guys, I mean, you're looking at $9,000 and you've got 28.
Yeah.
So you got plenty there. So what are you worried about? Losing your job?
No, not that. My dad has a bunch of rental property, and that's great. But there's also a lot of overhead in rental property. There's management problems, and there's also there's just a lot of overhead. And he's big into rental property. But right now, you can't buy rental property. It's ridiculous. So other than that, the best way to plan besides just rental property.
So are you trying to plan for the future, or are you planning for the apocalypse? I can't tell.
The future.
Okay. So if you're just looking at the future, you're 21, you got your whole life ahead of you, you got this 6-month-old. Are you just wanting to invest to make sure that you're able to retire when you want to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you guys investing anything right now?
No, we're not.
You're not. Okay. So that's the first thing I would do, Joseph, is I would press play on your investing strategy, which would be putting 15% of your household income into retirement every year. So whether that's, a Roth IRA is a great option. Does your company offer a 401k?
No, it's family business.
It's a family business. Okay. So yeah, so I would talk to a SmartVestor Pro and look to see, okay, here are my options to put some money away. And it could be, through a retirement vehicles is ideal, is that 15%. And then above that, if you guys still have margin, you're okay, I want to do something, then yeah, above that is when you look at, paying off your current house if it's not paid off. And then also, whether it's investing in the market and good mutual funds, if it is buying a rental property, which could be, 4 years down the road, because usually when you buy an investment property, the way we go about it, and I know for sure, Dave, it's that you make your money on the sale. So it would be a situation where it's
get a deal.
Something, yes, where
pay
you get
cash.
a great deal and you pay cash for it.
So Joseph, do you have a mortgage?
No.
Okay, so you're renting right now?
No, we own it.
You own it. Oh, you own it free and clear.
How much do you guys make a year?
Yeah. The average week is around $3,000 to $5,000, but there's some weeks we're in the roofing business, so we can't roof all year. So there's some business where we may go several weeks without working at all.
Wow.
But
well, you got no payments in the world, and you're making $60,000. Invest 15%. Do the Roth IRA. Beyond that, you might look at a brokerage account. But dude, you're gonna build wealth. You're 21.
Yeah.
Relax, breathe.
Slow
you're doing
and steady
great.
wins the race. You're doing great, Joseph. Doing great. Well, that wraps up this hour of The Ramsey Show. Thanks to Austin, Kelly, Will, Zach, and Andrew in the booth. Thank you, George, for hosting, and we'll be back, America.
Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.
Three.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. So it's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. And I am Rachel Cruz, co-hosting today with Ramsey personality George Hamill. All right, we're going to go right to the phones this hour, and Maria in Lexington, Kentucky is up next. Hey, Maria, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So my question that I have is, we are debt-free, my husband and I, and we have about $70,000 left on our mortgage. That's our only sort of debt. We already have our six-month emergency fund. And I have been working a lot the last year and a half. We have like about $53,000 saved up in like a little extra fund that we don't exactly know what to do with. We also have $20,000 for our next car fund. We have older cars. One is 20 years old, the other one's 13 years old, and so we've just been kind of putting money away for those. So my question is, do we take our extra money that we have, which is basically $73,000 between the car and the extra, and do we throw it at the house? Do we throw part of it at the house? A part of me would love to be completely debt-free from the house and everything. Or do we put it towards like retirement? We have 3 kids that are ages 4, 5, and 8. Do we like put some towards extra college fund? We just don't really know what to do with this money right now.
How much do you guys make a year, Maria, combined?
Combined, we are around 110. Usually last year we made 160.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah,
so
I work a lot of extra.
Are you guys funding retirement now?
Yes, we are putting probably about 20% away for retirement.
Okay. And have you guys started any college funds for the kids?
Yes, we do have college funds going that we started when they were each born.
Okay.
So we put some towards that every month, but didn't know if like we should put like a chunk towards it, more towards it.
You guys are doing great, Maria. Doing amazing. Your cars, you're going to have to replace those soon.
Yeah.
And so for me, that would be, because I mean, you guys are on Baby Steps Classic 4, 5, and 6, and you're doing everything. You're funding actually a little bit more into retirement than you need to be. You could even pull back some of that to that 15%, which would free up even more cash to throw at the house. Your kids' college funds are funded, and I would just double check maybe with your SmartVestor Pro or your investment professional who you're working with, just to make sure that those are on track. Looking at inflation and tuition rates and kind of how that money's going to grow, and just double check that. And then what's left there, is the mortgage. So I think that there is a chunk of this, of that $53,000 that you could definitely throw towards the mortgage. But also, again, on this step, we talk about the intensity, the gazelle intensity, if you will, is baby steps 1 through 3. Now we say you can take your foot off the gas. Like, you guys are okay. You're good. You can breathe. You can take vacation. Like we say, you can replace cars or redo that kitchen you've wanted to do, whatever it is. If there's something in your mind that you really want to do, we're not going to be mad if you use some of that money for that. But if everything else is covered, man, the thought of throwing $50,000 at that mortgage and be like, man, we only got $20,000 left.
I'm a nerd, and so I'm probably throwing it all at the house and dialing back.
Even the car fund.
Here's my thing. You're going to be able to save up for a new car real quick when you don't have a mortgage payment.
Yeah.
Making 110.
Yeah, right.
And so I'm not mad if you hold off and leave that car fund, because I don't know what the shape of your cars are in. But if I'm going, I could drive this thing for 6 more months. And so what I did personally, Rachel, is I dangled the upgrading car in front of me as we paid off the house. So that I'm not going to upgrade the car until we pay off the house. Once the house is paid off, then I'll save up and get the car I really want. And we were able to do that really fast without a mortgage payment.
Yeah.
So I think either way, you're going to be fine. If you save this car fund, put the $53,000 towards the mortgage, you're left with a $20,000 mortgage that's gone within the next, 7 months?
No, you only have a $70,000 mortgage. Is that right?
$73,000 mortgage.
Yeah, 70, yeah.
Yeah, and you have 73 total saved. You have 53.
Yes. So you could pay off the house today if you wanted to, which leaves you with no car fund. Correct?
Yeah.
Which is what you would do, though, George.
Which is what I personally would do, because I don't mind driving a beater, and you'll have the money to cash flow a repair if you need to, and within a few months you'll be back up to $2,000.
Maria, what's your husband's take? What's his thoughts?
Well, it's funny because we we were completely debt-free, mortgage and all, and then we moved right before the pandemic. And so he was gazelle intent to pay off the house our original house. And then I feel like I am more gazelle intense to just get rid of it this time. And so he is more kind of put the brakes on and enjoy not feeling like we're, living on rice and beans and having a little bit more.
Are you guys living on rice and beans right now? Do you feel like that?
No, we're really not. But I go in spurts of, okay, this is like no spend March. Let's see how much we can save up and
to pay off the house. Yeah.
So
you guys sound a lot like me and my wife, and that's just how we were. We were intense about it because we just felt like it, and we just have that drive.
Because there's a part of you that you're like, oh, Maria, what if you guys?
Not?
What if you did? What if you just wrote a check, paid off the house?
Does that excite you to write a check today and pay off the house?
100%, yes.
That excites me, and it's not even my house.
I know.
So I just like that idea.
How are the cars? Is it gonna die? Is one of the cars gonna die tomorrow?
There is one that could potentially die tomorrow. Yes, the 20-year-old one.
That's pretty wild.
The 13-year-old one is in good shape.
But you guys make great money, so I'm like, even if you kept $10,000 in the car fund for the one car that might die tomorrow.
Split the difference.
Throw everything else. The next pay period or two.
Next few paychecks.
Throw it at the mortgage. And you guys could be you could be completely debt free in 3 months. Doing that, and then if the
that's
car,
what I'm saying. Either way, within a few months, you have a paid-for house, and you can upgrade in car.
There's not a right or wrong here. It's kind of just how intense you want to be. Do you want to be George Camel and say?
No one wants to be George Camel.
Everyone wants to be George Camel.
Not if you're a horse lover. That's for another day. But Maria, you're doing great. I'm proud of you guys. This is an inspiring call to hear someone struggle with a pile of cash.
I know. What's your gut, Maria? What's your gut?
My gut is to pay off the house.
Do it, Maria.
Final answer.
I think you settled it. I think you know it. I think you do it. And then when that paycheck comes in next,
final answer.
It's all yours. The next paycheck, there's no payments coming out of it.
That feels good.
That feels
real nice. That first one that comes through is life-changing.
It's pretty great, Maria. Thanks for the call.
Woo!
This is The Ramsey Show.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back, America, to The Ramsey Show. It's a free call anywhere in the country, 888-825-5225. Up next is Kat in Orlando. Hey, Kat, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Well, I am looking at a second relocation for a promotion in 2 years. And the relocation package that I have through my work is very healthy. I don't want to leave the house that I'm in. I love the house that I'm in, but I feel like I would be leaving money on the table because they are covering all of the fees and whatnot for the transaction. And then they actually do the gross up at the end of the year. So there's really no tax consequences for me. But I just don't know if I've been fortunate enough that I've built, even in just a year between the market and I've been doing a principal curtailment every month. I've got a decent amount of equity. I guess my question is do I now try and downsize and maximize my down payment and capitalize on that equity, or
do I hold on to the house? I mean, I don't want to hold on to the house. I want to, but I don't want to because I don't want to have to worry about it while I'm out of state somewhere else and then renting possibly. So I just don't know if my thinking is correct that, given the fact that they're covering so much of the financial burden of a move, i.e. real estate fees and transactions and whatnot.
Yeah.
So you're still working for the same company and they're relocating you to a different city? Different office?
Correct. Yeah. Different state.
And is this in 2 years? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so what's making you worry now? What's the urgency now?
Are you saying this is your second relocation in 2 years? So you've just moved around a lot.
Yeah. And it took me forever to find the house that I'm in, and I really like it. And in looking at, I'm moving from Florida to South Carolina, and the houses there are a lot different. It's going to be hard to find something that I really like.
Kat, when you move to South Carolina in 2 years, will you be moving again in 2 more years?
No, well, I would be looking at relocating to South Carolina in about 30 days. But in South Carolina, I'd probably only be there about 3 years.
Oh, I hear you.
I imagine.
I would rent. If you're anywhere less than 5 years, I don't think it's worth, especially where the market is right now. I'm like, you're going to be buying high. Who knows what's going to be happening in the next 2 years? If I were you, I'd find a great place and I would rent since you're going to be gone in 3 years.
But then, what am I leaving money on the table though? Because they're paying for all of the real estate fees and all that kind of stuff. They're paying all of that.
So they're paying your closing costs if you sell your current home, right?
Yeah.
And if you buy a new one, are they covering those closing costs too?
Yeah, they pay up to I think $10,000 of the closing costs on the new home.
I wouldn't, because
so
you could be. Because think about, okay, here's worst case scenario. I mean, I'm never this person, but I want to be this person, Kat. What if you find a house in South Carolina and you're like, okay, I'm gonna bid, and you go against someone, you pay over asking, because that's what so many places are doing right now. That $10,000 is gonna look like so small compared to what you could be overpaying for a house right now. So in my head, that's great and generous that they're doing that. See if they'll pay for all of your moving costs and see if they'll pay first month's rent, transfer the same amount of money they would have paid.
Yeah, will they give you 10 grand?
Well, so I would get like a lump sum, like a modest lump sum, let's say $5,000 to $6,000. But then on top of that, obviously they pay the labor move part. They move all the furniture, they move all the furniture, but they also cover all of the transaction fees associated with buying and selling.
So you wouldn't get any extra money.
You would get it on the sell of your house if you sold your house in Florida, but you just wouldn't get on the buying end if you just rent. For the hassle of it, even though I know it sounds like you're leaving money on the table, but it's not that much money in comparison of what a mortgage is going to be.
Yeah, I mean the mortgage, I guess it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Then I guess my question is that what do you recommend I do with that $130,000 that I'm going to get from the sale of this house? Should I just invest it all, I guess, or like?
Yeah. Do you have debt, Kat, at all? Consumer debt?
No consumer debt. Well, I have a car note, which, to be honest, I should probably just pay off. I'm just a little.
Thank you for being honest.
How much do you owe on your car?
About $10,000.
Okay. So
and I have
some of that
$40,000 liquid.
Oh wow! Well, just pay off the car today.
Yeah, pay off the car today, and then the rest of the money. I would take some of it and look into investing in just a good growth stock mutual fund.
Because you're not going to touch this money for a few years, then.
Pardon me?
You won't touch this money for a few years, at least.
Well, probably not until I get moved. Until I relocate again.
Okay.
I would imagine. But
if it's 3+ years and you're debt free, I think it's fine in the market if you're willing to ride the wave and you don't need it urgently.
So do you think I should sell the house in Florida then, or do you think
I would? Yes, I would sell it.
You don't want to be a long distance landlord.
No.
And then, but everything you were saying though, Kat, of how excited you were that they were going to pay all the closing costs, everything for the sell too. So you get to take advantage of that, which is a gift. So take advantage of that, sell the home. Yes, get some money in the bank and invest some of that for sure. Because here's the deal: in 3 years, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so I did see like a duplex that was available for purchase in South Carolina. I haven't really dug into it, but what about if I purchased a duplex where I could rent out, and create maybe some cash flow on the one side and live on the other side? And
Yeah, and you probably
Or
could
is
get
that- I
that
might
for
just think-
around 1/3. What was the price on that? Do you know?
It was for something, I think.
Okay.
So I would make about what, like a 35% down payment on it.
Yeah.
Do you want to live there,
Since I'm
or
gonna
is
be
it
paying
just
rent.
like a money-making scheme?
It would be to like generate revenue. Yeah.
Kat, I think you're fine financially. I don't think you need to rent out. I mean, if I were you, are you single, married?
Yeah, no, single. Just
Okay.
me.
I would go, if I were you, I would go find an awesome condo or duplex or, townhouse in a really fun part of the city you're going to be in and just enjoy it. And don't worry about owning everything right now because, again, you're going to be there for 3 years. You're going to be leaving anyways. I would just enjoy it. I think take a deep breath. You're doing great. How much do you make a year?
With this new promotion, we haven't got to the numbers final yet. I'm thinking probably about between 1 and 105.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, Kat,
Let's go,
you're
Kat.
fine. Don't get a roommate. If I were you, I don't know. Am I sounding lazy?
No.
Just go and enjoy.
Rachel is a
You've
free
worked
spirit
hard.
spender.
You've worked hard, Kat. You're gonna have no debt because you're gonna pay off your car today with your $40,000 you have in the bank. Sell your house in Florida. Do the move. See if they'll pay for any of the other, maybe 1 month's rent or 2 months' rent of the new place. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I am Rachel Cruz, hosting this hour with George Camel. And up next, we have Christopher in Birmingham. Hey, Christopher, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thank y'all for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So bit of a long story. It's not as much of a success story as the last couple of calls.
No, it's okay.
So I'm a 26-year-old father. I have a 1-year-old, and my son is due in 2 weeks.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm extremely excited. But anyways, we're struggling pretty hard financially. I've tried to do as much as I know how to do as far as making an Excel spreadsheet, budget and trying to make sure where everything goes and make sure everything's allocated.
Yeah.
Where it should go, and I always seem to come up short. We had, from where we bought our house in August, we had a consolidation loan to try to make sure that we could get everything into one thing. And then after the baby was born, life just kind of happened all at once. And then the consolidation loan just became too much. So I ended up having to sell my prized possession, which was my truck, that I had built from the ground up, basically sold it and paid off the consolidation loan and a little bit of outstanding debt. And I've still got some credit card debt left, but for some reason, it just seems like every month, every week that I'm doing the spreadsheet, I'm coming up with next to nothing extra to try to snowball on these credit cards and much less put back into savings. And it's just
it's overwhelming.
It's a real gamble every month, and it's extremely overwhelming. My dad bought Dave's book, and he's been trying to help me through it, and we're just I don't know where else to turn other than just kind of go with my hat in my hand and ask for help.
Oh, well, Christopher, you're doing a great job. Let me just say that. It's a lot right now. I mean, how old are you guys?
I'm 26. My wife is 29. I want to get a handle on it before it gets out of control, and we want to have the ability to to move back home and enjoy life and do things for our kids that we never would expect that we could do.
Absolutely, and you will be able to. And that's the great thing, is that first motivation point is your why, and that you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. This is the breaking point. This is where people get where they're like, all right, I am willing to do whatever it takes to turn this around. So, Christopher, how much do you guys make a year?
I don't know the math on that 100%. I know I make our net every month is roughly 35 to 38. She's a manager in retail.
Okay.
So her hours kind of fluctuate a little bit, and they're fluctuating a lot, especially with the late stage of her pregnancy and doctor's appointments and stuff like that. But I'm on salary, so I make right at $2,400 a month by myself.
So your
and
take-home
then
pay is about
she's
$45
right
grand a year.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah,
Mine is, mine's 45.
Okay, so Christopher, I'll just give you just the stats that the average household income, dual income, was 65 last year. So you guys are living below average when it comes to just a combined household income. What kind of job, what kind of work do you do?
I'm an athletic trainer. I work in sports medicine.
Okay.
Cool.
At a local gym or high school? Or?
I work for a local, I work for a physical therapy company, but they outsource us athletic trainers to be full-time care at the local high schools or colleges. I work at a local high school to provide health care for the kids.
Okay. And what's your work? How many hours a week are you working?
I'm working right around, it fluctuates. During football season, I'm working right at 60 hours a week, and then during not football season, I'm probably right around 25 to 35.
Okay.
How much debt do you guys have currently?
We have a little over 12.
Okay. Do you think once you got out of debt that you would find that margin? Are these payments killing you? Because you said you're doing the budget, but there's nothing left at the end of the month. Is that because it's going back out to payments on the debt?
Yeah.
Or are there other issues?
So everything's going out to payments. It's going out towards.
Is your mortgage too high?
3 credit cards. No, my mortgage is fine. I'm able to make the mortgage every month.
What's the mortgage?
What percentage of your budget is your mortgage?
Percentage.
Or what are you guys paying for your mortgage?
We're paying $977 for it.
Okay, so that's reasonable considering your take-home pay. That's not the problem. I'm just looking to see where the problems are at, because when you do the budget,
there's more. There's just a lot of money, like little payments and stuff going out all over the place. I've got 3 credit card payments. We've got daycare that comes out every week. It's $180 a week for daycare, and then we've got hospital bills from where my last one was born, and we're going to end up racking up more from this new one.
Okay.
And this all adds up to $12K, all of your debt, credit cards, medical bills, or is there more?
Yeah, that's everything other than my wife's car payment.
Oh, what's the car loan?
The car loan, I think she's down to $9,500.
Okay.
Left on it, but the payment is $294.
Okay, and that's on top of the 12.
Yeah.
So we're looking more like $22,000 in consumer debt.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to get a real picture of where the struggle's coming from.
Yeah.
Well, there's a few things you can do. Obviously, we need to get rid of this debt, and having those payments freed up is going to help you guys immensely. But the other thing you need to do, I would get on Every Dollar instead of the spreadsheet and see if that helps you, because we'll gift you the premium version that's inside of Ramsey Plus along with Financial Peace. And so that you guys can track it. It'll be connected to your bank. And you need to really stare at every penny going out going, where could we cut? Where could we cut? How do we bring more money in? That's how you're going to create that margin to do the debt snowball.
And two, Christopher, I would say upping your income. So really the 2 ways that you're going to see movement the most is cutting the budget, but there may not be a ton. There could be some to cut for sure, but there may not be a ton. Just seeing what you guys make a month, knowing all of your expenses from daycare, food, everything. So, but the other end of the spectrum is your income. And that's what I would wonder is, hey, you guys, I mean, you said during certain times of the year, you're working crazy hours versus it goes down when you're not in season. And so it's either looking at Christopher, which could be very uncomfortable for you, but just like, hey, what's a totally different job? Because what people are paying right now for workers and for wages is it's insane. It's insane. And so what would it look like to go to a completely different industry just to get your head above water, even if it's something that you don't really want to do, you don't love it, but they're paying $50,000 a year.
Yeah. Hospitality, retail, I mean, they're paying $15,
because
$20.
This $45,000 is household income, so that includes your wife's, which means you're making even less than that. So you could be, I'm not sure what you're making, but it could be around $35,000, $30,000. So I just think you could be making more. And again, this is not a forever move, but there is these extreme measures that you guys are going to have to take because you're kind of in an extreme situation when you guys have a lot of debt. Again, your shovel's not huge with your income. And so there's something to be said about, man, what if we just turn the tables? And I know you have a new baby coming, so maybe you wait until mom and baby and everyone is good. And then maybe you just make a leap and say, hey, for 18, 24 months, we're just going to go crazy and we're going to cut the budget. We're going to do every dollar and stick to it. I'm going to see what extra job I can either take on or maybe even move industries completely and just say, man, I'm going to just take a higher paying job for now, just to get some traction. And then you could look up, in 24 months and be like, okay, we can breathe again. This feels good. And then I can go back and do what I love when it comes to this. But maybe there's something even within your skill set, a different position that you could do. But that income, I would look to see getting that up. That's what's going to help you get your head above water. This is The Ramsey Show. Scripture of the day is the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Galatians 5:22-3. As I grow older, I pay less attention to what men say. I just watch what they do. Andrew Carnegie. So it's been proven over and over again that you can crush your financial, your personal, your professional goals. So whether you want to pay off debt, land that dream job, or build better relationships, you really can make it happen. And so we're putting our #1 best-selling books and tools in the Ramsey $10 sale to give to you the proven plan of how to knock out those goals. So if you have money goals you're trying to hit or learn how to get out of debt and build wealth, there's the Total Money Makeover or Know Yourself, Know Your Money for just $10. As you're making your summer plans, have meaningful, actually real deep conversations with people you care about. So a great tool for that is Questions for Humans, Couples Edition or Friends Edition. Or if you have a high school grad and you want to give them a gift that will help them escape the traps of student loans, make sure to pick up the Graduate Survival Guide or our brand new high school gift pack. So listen, there's something for everyone, and we know $10 doesn't get you much anymore. So during the sale, make sure to check it out. $10 actually has a lot of value at Ramsey Solutions.
Inflation didn't hit us here at Ramsey.
No,
still the $10 sale.
Still that
not
$10
the $11 sale.
No, and it's going to be over so soon, you guys. So make sure you plan today to go to RamseySolutions.com. Everything is up to 67% off. That's insane. So make sure to hit that up before the sale ends. All right, we're going to be going to Joe in Washington, D.C. Hey, Joe, welcome to the show.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for taking the call. I'm excited to talk to you today.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So I feel like I'm jumping on the bandwagon here and talking more real estate with y'all.
We love it.
The situation is that I've got an opportunity to buy a triplex to where I'm moving up in New York next month. I'm moving for work. And let's say, the worst case scenario is it's just me in the building, right? At that point, it would be about 40% of my take-home pay to cover the whole mortgage. With one tenant in there, it would be about 20%. And with two tenants in there, including me, I could live for free.
Amazing.
I have no other debt, and I make about $120 a year. And I've been looking around. I haven't really been able to see what the Ramsey family insight is into house hacking, as the real estate community calls it.
Yeah, house hacking.
Yeah, we've got some of these calls before. Usually they're, how old are you, Joe?
I'm 32.
Okay. Usually it's younger guys in their early 20s. They've got no money to their name. They've got a pile of debt, and they're calling us going, hey, should I do this house hacking thing? I saw it on TikTok, and I can make a bunch of money. Your situation's a little bit different.
Yeah.
How much money do you have to put down on it?
It's going to be a federal loan, so it'll be going, real low, 5%. I could put down, 10, 15, but that would eat up most of the reserves I would have for, maintaining the house in, catastrophic scenarios.
And the numbers you ran, is that on a 30-year fixed rate?
It is, yeah.
Okay. Well, that changes my answer slightly. I'm not a fan of a 30-year versus a 15-year.
Do you have any other debt, Joe? Do you have any debt?
No, I have no debt, and then I've got about 75 in non-retirement accounts and about 200 in the retirement accounts.
Okay. And will you be in New York for the long term? Like, do you see for the foreseeable future that's where you'll be?
The current contract is 3 years, so we'll see what happens at the end of the 3 years.
Oh man, we just had a call so similar to this in the last segment.
Yeah, when we go into
I don't know. I just, for me, getting into something that, again, the math, you could make it work here, but I think there's just hassle in buying something, especially when it comes to real estate in New York. I'm like, oof. I don't know. Since you're there short term, I don't know if I would fool with it, but George may have a different.
I just personally wouldn't do it. Is your life going to be over if you make this move? No, it's just not what I would do. It's not the Ramsey plan is we do 15-year fixed rate, have a good healthy down payment, and have the payment be no more than a quarter of your take-home pay. Now you're seeing the upside of, well, if I get these renters in here that are on time, that are reliable, that don't cause a lot of issues, and there's zero maintenance to do, I'll be okay. But when I look at it, I also see a whole bunch of risk involved. And I'm never going to steer someone towards a 30-year fixed rate because, Joe, you're 32. You have a long, full life ahead of you. I don't want you to be tied down with a mortgage. And I know people say, well, Rachel, they're paying the mortgage for me. It's free. Nothing in life is free when it comes to real estate.
Yeah.
There's always going to be maintenance, repairs. You've got the mortgage, property taxes, insurance, you name it, extra liability with these tenants. So if you can swing it on a 15-year fixed rate and you had the same numbers, I'd go, okay, I feel a lot better about that. And if you had a healthy down payment, I'd go, I feel better about that. But at the numbers you gave me, it makes me a little uncomfortable.
You're just right on that line, Joe, a little bit of like, it could go south really quick, and you're going to regret doing it.
Would you cash out the 75 non-retirement to do it?
I don't think so, because then, I'm riding strictly on just on my monthly income, on my W-2.
So the 75 is what you're seeing as
year of reserves.
You're saying the 75 is your reserves.
Yes,
but it's currently invested.
It's in mutual funds, just like regular, highly liquid mutual funds.
Yeah, I mean, if you cashed it out and that became your down payment, you could do a 15-year. I'd feel a lot more like there's a lot more breathing room for you. So that's what I would do personally. Again, we treat calls at what we would do if I woke up in your shoes, and that's what I would personally do.
Yeah, there's just a lot of factors, and I know it sounds exciting and kind of like, ooh, cool, okay, I could get this and this and this and this, and it would work so well. And could it work? Absolutely, it could, but also it could go downhill real quick. So if you were to do it, it would be on a 15-year fixed rate mortgage, with no more, or with a bigger down payment. So I would put down, 10 to 15% there. And then you'd got to just be real sure that you'd get roommates in there, but hopefully that would lower the percentage of your mortgage of what you would pay. But all of the math needs to work really well, for us to feel good about it, or you're just dealing with a lot of hassle and you could be a little bit hassle-free. All right. Up next is Fred from El Paso. Hey, Fred, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thank you so much for taking my call. I appreciate the time.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Yes. So my question is, my wife has some current student loans we're trying to pay off. That's the only debt we have. We would like to know if it's a smart move to go and refinance those under my name, because my wife is a homemaker, so she's right now with our baby. So I just wanted to make sure if it's a smart move or if it's not.
What would the benefit be of refinancing the loans into your name?
Probably just the interest rate. I mean, that would be the only benefit, but I'm not sure if we have one at 7%, another one at 8%. She's got like 10 different loans, so again, it's just I don't know what would be the best move.
Now, are you talking about consolidation or refinancing?
Either one. Honestly, I haven't thought about either option, so just kind of some guidance there.
Okay. Well, I would not do consolidation because you're just moving things around and paying for it. But you can look into refinancing. There's a company that we've recommended in the past, Splash Financial, and if you can do it and there's no fee to you, so it's completely free to refinance, and you can keep a fixed rate or get to a fixed rate, I assume they're on a fixed rate, and you can lower the interest rate, then I feel good about it. Now, if they're going to sign you up for a longer repayment period to do it, not a good idea.
Yeah, and there's no benefit even, Fred, for you to refinance under your name versus hers. You could just keep it under hers.
Now, if she doesn't have an income, I don't know how, what the terms would
true.
be.
Yeah, that's
which I
fair.
think is part of his question. But
if you're a homemaker.
I would contact Splash Financial and see what they can do, and if they can give you a lower rate and keep your repayment period and keep it fixed, then I feel good about that.
Yeah, and debt consolidation, the only type of debt we say that is okay is student loans, because you're tempted, because a lot of people use debt consolidation, Fred, to move the debt around like George just said, and it feels good because it's like, oh, I'm doing something when you're really not doing something. But if you can consolidate all of those, get a lower rate, even them together, you could do that. It's not terrible. But keeping them separate is great because you can pay off that smallest one first and keep that momentum going.
That's snowball magic.
Yeah, so definitely look into the refinancing just to see if you can get a lower interest rate. But great question. Thanks, Fred. All right, this puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. I never said that line, but I like it. Thanks to Austin, Kelly, Will, and Zach for being great there behind the booth. George, fantastic
Always
show.
Always a pleasure.
So great. Thanks for co-hosting. Thank you, America, for listening. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, it's Rachel Cruz, co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream.